Okay, we are back. Okay. Okay, we are back, cats and kittens. Apologize so much for that. Didn't realize that you were only experiencing a little lag out there. We were experiencing a lot of lag here. Um, so hopefully you will catch up to us and jump on our live. Let's take a look at, let's see, Reader's Ride or Fans Ride number three. Let's take a look at this guy. Oh, sorry about that, Glass Man. I was just trying to let everybody know that we are back. I do apologize for that. Anyway, glad you rejoined us, Glass Man. Hey, Joshua. No audio. That okay? Let me take a look at the audio. Life is funny. Settings. Output audio. We should have audio. Um, that's why do we? Okay, all good. All right. Now we have audio. Yeah, that was everybody. Sorry about that. Glad you rejoined us. I tried to give you a little bit of warning. Um, yeah, the funny thing was, I was sitting here on my phone trying to let everybody know that, yeah, we're back up. So, anyway, Reader's Ride number three. So, let's take a look at what he's got going on. And that was a cool looking ride. let's see, what was his question? This is um, from Mike Weldline Turner. This will be the last one for this week. We only had 3 right in this week, so Mike Weldline Turner, he's got a rigid frame Evo chop with more weld than paint. I don't know, it looked pretty good to me. Hand welded. Do we have the right picture up there, Mortimer? Okay, well, let's just get to his. These fine people have suffered enough, so let's get to his question. How much fabrication is too much before reliability starts to go out the window? Well, Mike, it depends on how good of a fabricator you are. I'm not trying to be glib or anything, but um, it kind of boils down to that. If it's my butt on a line, I try to be pretty doggone safe and thorough. If it's somebody else's butt on the line, I try to be safe and thorough, and then safer and thorougher, and then again. So, very important. If you're doing actual fab on your wind splitter, whether it be a snowmobile, a motorcycle, a dirt bike, anything with handlebars, then you go for safety. Oh man, I hope we get the rest of the crowd back in pretty soon. If you're out there watching, please throw us a text. My bad for kind of jumping off and jumping back on. We're experiencing some lag, so just trying to reboot a couple things here real quick. But hopefully we didn't lose any of the family. All right. So enough of my yakety. I can't even do the yakety yak. Okay, so hey Slim, Glass Man, glad you're all back. Let's see, we have 2 more that we're waiting to get back in. I hope they're not too upset with us. Again, we're just trying to get rid of that lag. We kept noticing it up there, so we'll see what we can do. Again, we're in the middle of a pretty vicious windstorm, so all good. All right, so what do we got going here? Is that the one, Mortimer? Okay. Like I said, y'all have suffered enough. Let's get right to it and get to some cool flicks.
Cycle Savages feels like it was shot in the middle of nowhere, because it probably was. Rough bikes, rougher people, and zero concern for rules. You don't get heroes here, just men doing what they want, when they want. It's gritty, it's uncomfortable, and that's exactly the point. This is the kind of film that smells like gas and bad decisions. Not pretty, but real enough to leave a mark. So here's one for you, Grumpy. Is this what biker culture really looks like? Or just how Hollywood wanted it to look? You ever wonder what it takes to earn your place in a club? Hell's Angels on Wheels gives you a look, and it ain't easy. Jack Nicholson plays a man on the outside, trying to find his way in. But this world don't hand out trust. You earn it. Or you get left behind. The rides are long, the tension's longer, and every mile feels like a test. Because in this life, respect ain't given. It's taken. So tell me, Grumpy, can you really earn your way into a club? Or are you either built for it, or not? Not every ride has to be dark. The dirt bike kid takes a different road. One that's a little lighter, but still runs on 2 wheels. This is freedom through a kid's eyes. No gangs, no violence. Just the thrill of the ride. It's simple, almost innocent. But it reminds you of something important. every rider starts somewhere. Before the patches, before the reputation, there was just you and the machine. And that feeling never really leaves. So here's one. Grumpy. Does biker culture lose something when it gets too serious? This ain't your typical biker world. Akira takes the ride and throws it into the future. Neon lights, endless night, and a machine that feels alive. That red bike, it's more than steel. It's power, control, and something just under the surface, ready to break loose. The gangs are still there. The attitude's still real, just louder, faster, and a whole lot more dangerous. This ain't about the road anymore. So here's the question, Grumpy. When it comes down to it, is riding about freedom or survival? This is what happens when the ride goes supernatural. Ghost Rider takes everything you know and sets it on fire. Nicolas Cage becomes something else entirely, a rider bound to something darker. Chains, flames, and a bike that burns through the night. It's not subtle, it's not quiet, it's loud, violent, and impossible to ignore. This ain't about freedom anymore. It's about consequence. Because some deals you make, you don't ride away from. So tell me, Grumpy, is the outlaw life about freedom or paying the price later?
Well, those were some interesting movies for sure. Not all of them were really up my alley. Um, let's see. Good Q&As though. And of course, there's one of my absolute favorites, Ghost Rider. We'll get to that in a minute. There's some good backstory behind Ghost Rider. So let's take a look at the question for Cycle Savages. Now, I know Cycle Savages came up in the 50s and earlier category. It was made in 69, and you can see some of the stars that you can't believe are still around, like Bruce Dern. Yeah, there's interesting. Anyhow, so let's take a look at the question. So the question was, is this what biker culture really looks like or just how Hollywood wants it to look? Well, it is a little bit of both. All right. Some of it's exaggerated. It really is. Like a lot of movies, some of it's exaggerated. Now, if you take the bike riders, they didn't exaggerate anything in the bike riders. That was pretty spot on. Some of the movies, they get a little Hollywood, but yeah, some of it in that movie is a little exaggerated, a little Hollywood. The attitude. So, like I said, this was in 69, even though what they are doing is in 69, they tried to make a retro movie to reflect more of the 50s genre. Good try. It's not bad. It's not a horrible movie. The attitude, pretty spot on. So, let's see. Let's see if we can rip through these without boring anybody to tears. Oh, here is a good one from back in the day, 67. Can you really earn your way into a club, or are you either built for it or not? That is a great question, because if you're going from a friend of the club, a known associate, to a prospect, and eventually to a full patch member, especially if it's an outlaw club, and let's face it, as much as I love these clubs, all clubs, try to be a friend to all clubs. Some of them are hard to get into, but there's a reason that they're hard to get into. So, you may get in, you may not. Built for it, Well, if you're not built for it, that mindset, depending on what club you're going for, there's all kinds of clubs. There's motorcycle clubs, there's rider clubs, etc. If you're going for a one percenter club or something like that, you've really got to be in that mindset going in. Don't just watch a couple of movies, think it's cool, and try to get there. Because I'll tell you, as a prospect, that may be the worst. Now, if things go good, that may be the worst 9 to 18 months, some even a little longer than that. But that period of your life, it's going to be heck. Yeah, it's going to be heck. So think about that long and hard. Yeah, that it's tough being a prospect, and as old Mr. T used to say, I pity the fool. Now this next one is cool, it's lighthearted, and think about this. Think about being a kid. Oh, hey, there comes a train. Besides the wind, maybe the wind will blow the train over on the facility. Then we won't have a lot to worry about. Okay, so the dirt bike kid. Now imagine this. Thank you. All right, you're a kid in the 1970s, and you've got a two-wheeler that looks kind of new. He looks kind of like a preteen. Just imagine hooking up with that, and well, yeah. So it would have been pretty cool. So let's see. The Where are we? All right, Morton. Morton, were you being a wise guy up there? All right. Yeah, I wish I had been a kid a little bit later. I'll tell you what. All right. So does biker culture lose something when it gets too serious? Well, it certainly can. Okay, cats and kittens, because sometimes, like your old humble handlebar Sherpa here, the grumpy Viking, you got to be able to laugh at yourself. All right, there's times to be serious, of course there is, but you got to be able to laugh. You got to have fun. You gotta love people. Okay, so um, if you forget why you ride, what joy it brings to you, yeah, life can get crappy. So lighten up. My advice to anybody out there, yes, there's times to be serious for sure, but unpucker, have fun, laugh at yourself, laugh at others. It's the whole point, isn't it? All right, let's take from you all. All right, so God Soldier 1129, Ghost Rider is one of my faves. We're almost there. I got to tell you some of the backstory. All right, Glassman 23. Hey, clubs fascinate me. They do. They are fascinating. There's all kinds of clubs out there. Okay, a lot of people. Now, if you want to start your own club, now there's a whole process to go through. Okay, including going through your local council of clubs. So don't mess with that. Don't just start donning, you know, rockers on your back. So do your research. There's a process, but you can start a club. Let's see. Queen Creek. So glad you're here. They should make a girl-ran biker club. I feel like it's mostly men. Queen Creek, the oldest bike club in America, is an all-female club. The Motor Maids, the oldest one. It predates the Mongols. It predates the 81 Club. Predates them all. There are many. I know they're not as well. Really? I know they're not as well advertised. Yeah, you saw that, didn't you, Mortimer? Yeah, I forgot the shades. Yeah, but there are a lot of all-female clubs. There are clubs out there. There's sober riders. There's some Christian clubs where they have both. It's um, male and female, of course. But there's so many different clubs that are based on different things. Chances are, if that's what you want to be involved with, you'll be able to find whatever flavor suits you best. Okay. Joshua, I laugh at myself twice a day. Well, Joshua, if I didn't laugh at myself, I don't know, probably more than twice. I've got plenty of people to volunteer to laugh at me, even when I didn't think I was being funny. Okay, Slim Prim, the Bearded Spy Club. Slim, you're awesome. You really are. Queen Creek. Wow, I didn't even know that creek. Oh yeah, the Motormaids. Look them up. Great history. Amazing women. Some of the stuff they've done. I'll tell you what. We've got some guys, my own associates around here, and like I said, I'm a friend to all clubs, so I get to know people here and there. But I can tell you, there's some guys in a lot of groups that are all, oh, I've got X amount of miles, or they come walking around. This is the part that really grinds my gears. The guys that walk around snooping to see how many miles you got on your bike, or on your wind splitter, snowmobile, jet ski, quad, whatever. But I got to tell you, those cats that are all about, oh, I put X amount of miles on. Oh, cool. The people that I see that are more consistent long riders but don't advertise it as much are women. A good friend of mine went out and bought a trike, had some medical issues, not too dislike some of the things that I go through too. She chose to go ahead and get a trike. Ends up doing a 3,200-mile trip. That's awesome. Now, there's plenty of guys that can do long trips too, but, we've all got that one cat we know that's always got to, there's an old saying, comparison is the death of joy. So to all those guys that walk around and maybe even get handsy and turn your bike on so you can see them on, really don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, okay, a little off subject there. Got to get back to this. God Soldier, imagine carrying how many miles someone has on there, but yeah, really? What does it matter? So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So the Dirt Bike Kid, that is kind of a cool flick that you can watch with a fam pretty much anytime. Let's buzz on through. We got 3 more to go real quick. Akira, can a machine become part of who you are? Are you really asking that question? Yeah. Now, some cats and kittens may buy a particular bike to get it some type of identity. I hate to cast that shadow. Some people have an identity and they get a bike. I mean, there's different psychology that goes all through it, but whether it's a quad, a snowmobile, a 2-wheeler, a 3-wheeler, the one thing you need to do, and you'll know when you hit that point, is you need to get out and ride it and enjoy it. And then do it with friends, do it alone, do it whatever you like to do. But there's going to be a point where a switch gets flipped and you become one with that machine, where when you take this corner, you know how fast that you can go into the corner, where your approach is, inside, outside, middle, and where you're going to exit out of that, where in that turn you can start laying on the throttle again. You eased off to set, maybe you tap the front brake to set your front tire to get into that turn, and you tap the brake, you set the tire, you're into the radius, now you're going to start getting on that throttle. But these are all things you become one with that machine. Yeah, if you don't become one with that machine, I don't know if that's possible. Maybe that just means you never rode it. I don't know. Let's see. Slim Prim. The bond between man and machine runs deep, almost as deep as Grumpy's bond. Really? Oh yeah, Slim. Those 3-letter agencies used to keep me a little busy, but not for the reasons you think. I mean, lawful, but not a spy either. Funny, very funny. All right, Fled. All right, I hadn't even heard of this one. So, I saw a quick, what do they call it? The trailer. I have not watched it yet, but this looks like a movie that I really want to watch. Fled from '96. When it comes down to it, is writing about freedom or survival. All right, that Fled looks like a really good flick. Not doesn't look real heavy or anything, so that's on my short list of ones to watch all the way through. Uh, so is it about freedom or survival? I don't know. What life are you living? For me, it's about freedom. Um, Now there was days when I was on the poorer side of poor, or the poorer side of broke, or something like that, to where yeah, it was snowing out some, but a two wheeler was all I had. So and I had to get to work, and I did. Um, there's been times when I've snowmobiled to work. I love snowmobiles too. I love snow machines. So it can be about survival for good or bad thing. Yes, I know, Mortimer. Yeah, I know I'm still poor. Thanks, buddy. Maybe you're part of the reason? Yeah, he wasn't listening. All right. So, yeah, it depends on your lifestyle. For a lot of us, it feeds our soul. You get out there and clear your head. You know, some of those troubles that you have, maybe at work, something's really ready to split your wig, and you get out on that two wheel and all that stuff just kind of, or a snowmobile, or a jet ski, something with handlebars. Get your knees in the breeze. You know, just kind of wash it away. Glassman, snowmobiles are badass. I love snowmobiles. Project coming up. I got to share it. I just don't know when our donor sled is going to get here. So, an era correct V twin snowmobile. So, AMF, which owned Harley Davidson at the time, also produced snowmobiles. In the 60s, they were really ugly. When they got into the 70s, they looked a little sleeker. They're okay. But I want to put a shovel head motor on one. I don't know why, just because. I like snowmobiles. Anyway, I'm from the Arctic Circle. Give me a break. All right, let's see. We're finally here. The moment has arrived, cats and kittens. Yeah. Ghost Rider. Is the outlaw life about freedom or paying a price later? Again, um, what's your lifestyle? I don't. I really try not to judge people. I know we do a lot of political parody over on the other side. Try to keep that away from what we do here. Try to keep it out of the shop too, if I can. But it's in every part of your life. You kind of, you can perspire it. But um, the bottom line is that if you're leading some type of lifestyle that, you know, is outlaw, I don't really know how I want to phrase this. I'm trying to be a little diplomatic. But my belief is, my people, my religion is that, yeah, you pay for things later. And we kind of like that up escalator versus the down escalator. You know, there's just something about meeting Odin's oldest child that isn't much of a turn on, even though she was a female, powerful. But yeah. Will you pay for it later? I think we all will. Here comes that judgment day. Okay, enough heaviness. Now, on to some of the backstory on Ghost Rider. Queen Creek, are you listening? The original Ghost Rider was a female. I think it made it one or two whole edition of the comics back in the day. So there's two different comics. So Punisher and Ghost Rider. Sometimes I get these back and forth. Now, Punisher and Ghost Rider both were the first ones to actually kill someone. So fatality came up. If you look at previous, yep, if you look at previous editions, um, you notice that a lot of people got beat up, beat around, yeah, all that stuff. Everybody survived. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like the old westerns. That's why I didn't really dig westerns. I knew my way around guns when westerns were popular, but something about getting like 30 shots out of a six shooter, and nobody got hit, and you're 12 feet away. Okay, so yeah, Ghost Rider was one of the first people. One was in '69, one of them was in '71. Do your research. Um, but yeah, fascinating story. You want to talk about paying for something? Yeah, Ghost Rider kind of did. So Queen Creek, I don't know why they flipped the script on that, but if you do the research, um, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Now, depending on who's providing the research, you may get some different stories, but there were or is still in existence somewhere the female, like I said, either one or two um, comic books where Ghost Rider was actually a female. So interesting stuff. All right, so we made it through all that. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what time it is. I hope you're all enjoying yourself. Mortimer, that internet, I'm looking over at the live screen over there, what all you great folks are seeing in real time. It's a little lag from here, but no, we're not lagging it. It's looking good. Maybe that windstorm is over. 5:57. Might go a little long. I owe it to y'all for the little glitch that we had, but that seemed to do the trick in getting us back on a path of righteousness again. Oh, let's try. We can do a little SOS or some fan mail. The fan mail is kind of fun and oftentimes very funny. So we're getting toward that 6 o'clock hour Denver time. So that's about 1 o'clock in England. You know, very fascinating cats over there on the biker hangout. Y'all got to check that out, and definitely get out your phone, download that biker hangout radio, so you can get it on Google Play and on Apple. And I got to tell you, that is so pleasant, very eclectic, and I don't know. Sometimes the Brits just sound smart, so I enjoy listening to them. Whether they are or not, I don't know, but they sound just lovely, as they say. But check it out, the Biker Hangout Radio, and you can tell India that the Grumpy Viking sent you if you like. Okay, SOS for Grumpy. We'll do one of each, one SOS and one fan mail, and then everybody can go on to have a lovely evening. And I thank you so much for joining us. Best audience in the world right here. What do you got going on, Mortimer? Oh, okay. Yeah, don't do that. We got way too many screens in here. Okay. So, Grumpy, my bike backfires when I roll off the throttle. Sounds mean, but I don't think it's supposed to do that. Am I hurting anything? Well, Mike from Boise, Idaho. You could be. I don't know how long this has been going on, but that popping, it ain't power, dude. That's unburnt fuel lighting off. What we used to do is weld little bungs and put spark plugs in. And we would have a little flip switch for igniting any raw exhaust, and it would throw some pretty cool flames. I had some friends, we did some experimenting. We did some really early and rudimentary oil injection toward the back of the pipes, and even employed did this on a car and a bike, both with dual exhaust, obviously, but had backup plugs. So we had a little 4-cylinder distributor firing out to 2 plugs on each side, just in case. What we did was add a little oil injection. So in case the oil fouled one plug, it wouldn't foul 2. You want to talk about throwing some interesting flame out the back. If you had somebody tailgating you, especially, those cretins that want to get right up to just about kissing your tail at a red light, yeah, you give it a few little rumbles to throw a little fuel down back there. Or if you're in a car, a couple little soft pedals, and then light turns green, flip that switch and nail it. And I'll tell you what, there's no better attitude adjuster than, some orange or green, if you're doing the oil thing, green flame coming over your hood as somebody is walking away from you. Pretty cool stuff. Probably get arrested for it nowadays. You get arrested for everything. All right, but yeah, so here's what I tell people. Always start off with the easiest stuff and the cheapest. So you've got that popping is either an exhaust leak, so go around and check all your connections, make sure they're tight. If you've got to replace the gaskets or the seals up on the heads, then please do that. It's running lean, so your air fuel mixture is off. Seen that a lot, especially if you've got a open loop fuel injection system where it's always running like it's the choke's half on, or a dirty or misadjusted carb. Just like we had out in the shop here, we ended up having to go in, literally breaking needles off of wire brushes to clean out some orifices. Now here's a question for you. Is it orifices or orfi? All right. Start simple and cheap. Bleed the brakes. Replace the fluid and... What? Okay. Cool sound, but expensive mistake. Last thing for tonight, and we won't keep you any longer, is... Where did that go? One quick fan. Where are you? Okay. Just do the top one here real quick. Hey, Grumpy Viking, what is the one mistake you see riders make over and over again? Mike from Arizona. Mistake that riders make. Well, not honoring their own mortality sometimes, especially young bikers. I assume you're talking about street bikers, not dirt bikers. I love dirt bikes, man. Yeah, sometimes pushing dirt bike beyond the limit. Yeah, I've come up battered and bruised a few times, but when it's out on the street and you're doing the road warrior stuff, especially young cats, young men, full of testosterone, they get a bike that maybe it's the first or second bike and they've gone for the biggest thing they could afford, and they do silly things in traffic. So respecting one's mortality. That's all I got. So, okay, cats and kittens. Well, it has been a wonderful hour. And as you know, I always love spending this wonderful hour with all of you. Much love to all. I hope to see you next week. Also, like I said earlier in the show, remember that hopefully starting next week, we will be on Facebook as well, the so-called recast. So we'll be on YouTube and Facebook. Check out our bio on Facebook and click the links if you so desire. See if it's something that you want to be involved with. We have the members only section. Also, if you go to the school link, you can become part of our community on school. Maybe it's not something that you want to be involved directly in. Cool. We have a lot of free stuff. We have a lot of premier membership type of stuff as well, more expanded things. But check it out and see what works for you. But I got to tell you, on school, like I said, the biker hangout, I could probably rattle off at least a dozen. But check out some of the different sites on there. Even if you decide to, maybe stay with us and go on to the free stuff, there's a lot of the different communities that offer free stuff. We'd love to have you be a premier member, especially one of the first. A lot of things we'd like to do for you there. But check us out. And again, 5 o'clock Denver time every Thursday. Hopefully our family will be expanding now with this new expansion. And again, reminding you that I'm going to work on the intro to knock a little dust off that, modernize it a little bit. But as Bronson would say, until next time, hang in there and remember, live the adventure. Have yourselves a great week, folks.